Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. Okay, here we go. The first subject is commercials that never made it to air.
Fungal foot problem.
Have you been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault? Of course you have, because that is the definition of an accident.
FIFA summer sofa sale. Total office clear out. Bribe now, pay later.
Andrex, because who wouldn't want to wipe their ass with a puppy?
Carlsberg don't do your girlfriend, but I have.
What's that? Yeah, mate, I got some bad news about your dad.
Why pay more for ratchet, trifling-ass pilots when you can get to where you're going on EasyJet? A basic bitch will get you there.
We call it a Happy Meal. The cow we killed wasn't too chuffed, though.
Waitrose, 2 for the price of 3.
We had debts all over the place, but Wonga took all those debts and put them in one simple loan. They also took a house. Are your vet's bills getting on top of you? Then why not try Dognatas?
Want to save money on biscuits? Easy. Give blood.
From Laboratoire Garnier, Paris. Because if we said it was from Unit 5 of a Luton industrial estate, you wouldn't buy it, would you?
Struggling to sleep? Why not try 10 cans of Stella?
Did you mistake your girlfriend for a burglar on Valentine's Day? Then you need to go to Specsavers.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe! The Lynx effect.
That one's accent is a bit more racist than that one's accent. There you go. Just compared the meerkats.
Okay, the next topic is lines you wouldn't hear in a sci-fi movie.
Hi, is that NHS Direct? Yeah, a bit of a temperature and I've got an alien coming out of my stomach. 2 paracetamol, OK.
OK, Mr. Zulu. Set course for the 4th quadrant to the Orion Nebula. I think there's a Nando's there.
We're sorry to announce that there is a replacement beam down service this weekend between the ship and the planet Splooge.
You've got to imagine this in a Scottish accent. This is our Independence Day. There you go.
They abducted us and took us to their spacecraft, and then they explored our bodies with strange probes. I'll be honest, it was the best stag night I'd ever been on.
This man can now reach the full potential of his brain. Joey, wake up, you can tie your shoes. Reem.
What the people don't know, Captain Kirk, is that when I do that V thing, that means in Vulcan, I've had your mum.
I think this time tunnel is broken. We have gone 1,000 years into the future and Bruce Forsyth is still working.
If you take the red pill, you will enter the Matrix. If you take the blue pill, you will have a boner for 7 hours.
This is it. The machines are taking over. Hashtag apocalypse.
Yeah, I've had a look at it, mate. The problem is your nano boosters are shot and your warp drive is fucked.
Our planet is dying. We seek a new home. Which of you is Phil and which of you is Kirsty?
The dinosaurs are killing everyone. Why do we keep reopening this park? Who keeps giving us public liability insurance?
So the plan is you get in the time machine, go back in time, and cock-block Hitler's dad.
Phone home. Phone in Joan. No, phone home.
Things you wouldn't hear on a survival show.
This is the most terrifying animal you can see in the wild. It has the body of Posh Spice.
Of course, if you're on an expedition, you must always make sure you boil all the water. Now, this can really slow you down if you come to a lake.
It's been 17 days since my last proper meal, and I am beach body ready, bitches.
Bear, are you related to George Foreman grills?
I've not had a bath for days on end. And that's because Rob Beckett's dad is in there.
There is barely any water here, so we've been collecting our urine. But this morning, some of it was gone, and that is taking the piss.
Spent 3 days in the jungle with nothing to eat but raw caterpillars. I remember the moment I walked back into civilization. Whew, there are a few butterflies in my stomach, I can tell you.
When I was thirsty, I was forced to drink my own urine. I'm now hungry and dreading dinner.
And when you're in the wild, you've got to remember what you learn at Scouts. Don't tell anyone our little secret.
Well, night is falling, it's raining, and I'm in the shelter, but it still feels dangerous here. There are 6 teenagers staring at me, and the bus doesn't arrive for 20 minutes.
If you suddenly see a bear extremely close to you, the best thing to do, stand stock still. Pull down your trousers and just let it have sex with you.
On the men's island, Derek's drinking coconut water because Derek's a hipster twat.
After 3 months totally alone on the island, it's amazing that John hasn't gone mad. Isn't that right, John? Yeah, it is, yeah.
So, I've managed to make a raft to escape the island by smashing up some boats.
Okay. The next topic is unlikely things to hear over at Tannoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to Waitrose, you smug, rich pricks.
This is not a drill. I repeat, this is not a drill. Would somebody please go to the power tools aisle and get me a drill?
If you see an unattended bag, please don't report it. Remember, you're in world of luggage.
Good evening, ladies. Topshop will be closing in 5 minutes. Please make your way to the till unless you're over 30, in which case piss off to M&S, you ancient old hag.
This is an announcement for the front desk of the swimming baths. Could doctor, someone's done a shit in the pool? Please come to reception.
Would the couple having sex in aisle 2 please stop? Spillage in aisle 2.
The 1625 has unfortunately been cancelled and has been replaced by a replacement bus service. EasyJet would like to apologise for all passengers who are going to Greece.
I only work in the post office for the crumpet. Watch this. Widow number 2, please.
In tonight's performance of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the part of the child catcher will be played by a 1970s TV presenter.
Welcome to Sexist Airways. I'm just going to pop on the seatbelt sign for a moment because we're swapping to a lady pilot.
We are now coming into land in Russia, where the local time is 1956.
Welcome aboard the one-way saga service special to Switzerland.
Just trying to have a laugh.
Attention to the submarine crew of HMS Nando's. Be careful not to burn your eyes on the periscope.
Lost children can be found at the Lost Children tent. If they're not claimed by the end of the day, they will be destroyed.
Welcome to Megabus. Things haven't worked out quite as well as you were hoping, have they?
Welcome to the Sexist Supermarket. Checkout number 3.
Unlikely film trailers.
A man who only wants one thing. Strepsils.
In his toughest assignment yet, Peter Parker has to pick a peck of pickled peppercorn.
Drama, intrigue, romance, gardening, spoons, all these and other words in Dictionary the movie.
All your favourite administrators are back in Human Resources 2. This time it's personnel.
When a hairpiece gets possessed by the devil, there'll be hell to pay.
He loves sex, but he has no arms. Which position will he choose? Missionary impossible.
If you see one film this year, then you're probably a new parent.
It was a love story that crossed the species barrier. He was a man, she was a cow. Coming soon Beef encounter.
Coming soon. A 3D film where you don't get bored halfway through and lift up the glasses just to see what the screen looks like without it.
Every Year I Love You More, starring Michael Jackson and Benjamin Button.
Coming soon, a story of premature ejaculation.
The Grand Budapest Hotel. Brilliant, The Times. 5 stars, The Guardian. The beds weren't made, TripAdvisor.
Part man, part machine, part bird, part drum. It's Robo Bongo Cuckoo Cop.
Thank you very much.
A group of Greeks try to get away with their money. Chicken Run.
My Dad Pictures presents. Your man. I know him from something. Anyway, him. And a woman. I think she was in ER. Maybe it was House. She was definitely a doctor. Join forces to fight. I know him. He's gone awful old looking, hasn't he?
It's the bromance of the year. Ed and David Miliband star in What the Fuck Was the Point of That Then?
Okay, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear on the radio.
Mime.
I'm sorry for that small pause just at the end of that record there. Only my shit took slightly longer than I expected.
This is Top DJs of the 1970s. Prison radio has never sounded so good.
A hideous car crash has occurred at the end of the A19. It's called Doncaster.
Another shipping forecast issued by the Met Office at 2343 on Saturday the 8th. It's going to piss it down.
You're listening to BBC Wiltshire because your car radio has lost reception to what you were listening to.
And next up on the Archers, there's an axe murderer on the loose. Not really. Someone has an argument with their housekeeper.
Travel news. A coachload of origami enthusiasts has broken down on the M1, and they're all currently sat on the hard shoulder making paper models of cars. Traffic is described as stationary.
You're listening to Saga Radio. You're listening...
Lidl, Aldi, later Tesco. This concludes the shopping forecast.
Have you been injured at work? Maybe you should turn the radio off and concentrate properly on what you're doing.
But you're dead. We're all dead. We've all been dead from the beginning. You've been listening to the final ever episode of The Archers.
Next up on Gardener's Question Time, I'll be trying not to laugh like a schoolboy when a woman phones in with a problem about her box hedge.
This is local radio. It's 4 a.m. and no one's listening. Let's play Say Something Racist Roulette.
Due to tomorrow's BBC strike, tomorrow's Today programme will be today's Today programme, but called Yesterday.
sometimes when you listen to the radio, there's a tune that you can't get out of your head. It sort of plays again and again and again. It sort of gets faster and faster and faster, and finally it comes on.
Unlikely greeting cards.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Sorry you're dead. What can you do?
Sorry you're leaving, and sorry to break it to you in such a cowardly fashion.
Happy Father's Day, whoever you are, wherever you are.
Roses are red, violets are red, the greenhouse is red. I think I'm bleeding to death.
At this difficult time, I'm thinking of you, wearing suspenders and a mask.
I saw this and thought of you. Blank inside.
My feelings can't be put into words, although the judge did describe them as inappropriate.
That was a scrape. Congratulations on your circumcision.
Congratulations, you did it. And we'll prove it. The Crown Prosecution Service.
It's a girl, not a woman, which is why you're going to prison.
With deepest sympathies for the loss of your grandmother. / happy housewarming.
You've passed away.
21 years, and this time you'll probably die in prison.
To our darling son, on your 21st birthday, now get the fuck out of our house.
Please help me. I'm trapped inside a North Korean card factory. Also, Iron Man says happy 4th birthday.
Roses are red, violets are blue. When you go down on me, please don't chew.
Okay, the next topic is things you wouldn't hear on a science documentary.
The dinosaurs were wiped out by a giant asteroid. Silly them for all standing in the same place.
Does it burn anything other than Bunsen?
He named the star after himself, and now we find ourselves looking at Arthur Cockmonster III.
So, it glows in the dark, and it has a half-life of 1,000 years. Frankly, I've never done a poo like it.
On today's show, we'll be talking about the Jurassic period, where only dinosaurs and Bruce Forsyth roam the earth. He's old, isn't he?
For Sarah Palin, it's conclusive proof that man and dinosaur existed together. For everybody else, the Flintstones is just a cartoon.
Next, biology. Why is that gorilla so sexy?
Let the proton see the electron.
Scientists in Loughborough found the formula to make the perfect cup of tea, which is quite controversial as the grant was for AIDS research.
You've been watching me, Richard Dawkins. Good night and God bless.
See, and the problem with cocaine is it's well Moorish.
Well, we could ask a proper scientist about this, or we could ask Dara O'Brien.
Hello, my name's Dara O'Brien. And to try and bring science to the masses, I'm going to appear in a programme with Stephen Hawking wearing a ridiculous hat.
Just enough with the, you know. I love that hat, by the way.
Hello, I'm Dara O'Brien. And I've got a massive head and a massive brain. But all I get to do in this bit is just press a little button.
Mr. O'Brien, I award you a PhD. Phenomenal head, Dara.
I would just like to say that I think Dara O'Brien's a legend.
I work with Dara O'Brien. And today, my experiment is to turn this joke into a P45.
Unlikely things for a sports commentator to say.
Embarrassing, humiliating, bringing shame on the sport. Welcome to Wimbledon Today with me, Claire Balding.
And it all comes to this. After years of training and preparation, I'm commentating on the poxy water polo.
Mo Farah has apologised for his association with substances that the British public regard as abhorrent and has said he will never advertise Quorn again.
Welcome back to the golf, where Tiger Woods apparently travels with 2 inflatable sex dolls now in case he gets a hole-in-one.
And he's found a chocolate biscuit down the back of the sofa, but he's not going to celebrate because it's his old club.
And he's resting 2 balls on the cushion now, which is why he won't be allowed back into ICANN.
And he pops the cork and he's spraying everyone with champagne. Welcome to the first Conservative budget since 1996.
Here we are at the Crucible, all burning to death!
Well, that was the speed skating, and now crack cocaine curling.
The American and the Russian are out in front, and here comes the Finn. Yes, they're going to swim a lot faster now. The shark is chasing them.
And so they've brought up a curtain around the horse that fell earlier, but no, we've got good news. He's moved to a farm in the countryside.
Well, here we are at the Rugby League. It's tough, men. It's better than rugby union and at the same time ever so slightly more gay.
And this decision's going to a touch judge, and yes, it's sexual harassment.
Well, this is his 3rd attempt with a bar at this height. No, still can't get served.
And here come the 2 Red Bulls, which is what you'll need to keep yourself awake during Formula 1.
I'm joined here by Balding, or Alan Shearer as he likes to be known.
Raikkonen now on Supersoft. The Viagra simply not working.
And if you want to find out what this function key on the keyboard does, join us after the break on F1.
And after the break, join me, Claire Balding, presenting everything. I present everything now. Everything is mine, everything.
Okay, the next topic is unlikely things to hear on a gardening programme.
There's something about eating food that's come from your own garden. This is quite a hearty stew I've made out of a squirrel I shot with an air rifle.
Well, to answer your question, I tend to keep mine on a hose reel, but then I'm very lucky down there.
These pine trees smell suspiciously of air freshener.
My advice would be don't splash out on expensive gnomes. Do what I do and just simply varnish some small children I found playing in the park.
I call this my Blue Peter garden because it's the first place that I blew Peter.
Remember, the trick is to get your pitchfork right through it before you take it and throw it back over the fence.
Well, we've had a letter from Mrs. Smith of Epsom who's asked us to identify something that she has found in her garden. Well, Mrs. Smith, that is a dog turd.
I've got a letter here from Maureen in Doncaster who's asking a question about herbs. In response to your letter, Maureen, I would recommend about £200 for an ounce, and if it's really good shit, 300.
Well, that is the wheelbarrow, and tomorrow I'll show you another sexual position.
So it's quite simple to take up an old patio. All you do is just leave it. Let's not talk about it ever again.
I woke up in a field of aubergines the other day. I thought, none of these baby seals have faces.
Right, welcome to the UKIP garden. Sod the lawns, let's concentrate on them borders.
So you could use a lawnmower or a strimmer, although I would recommend waxing.
Take the shovel, force it right down like that. Save your fortune in vet's fees having it put down professionally.
Help! I'm being attacked by pineapples! Help! Help!
I like to plant my herbs in alphabetical order. People say to me, how do you find the time? I say, it's there next to the sage.
Unlikely lines from a blockbuster movie.
I cannot hold her, Captain! I cannot hold her! Oh, no, hang on, I'll put her in the cup holder until she cools down.
Luke, I am your father. I think your mum went for about 3 stormtroopers before me.
Good news, Lord Vader. The rebels have voted 55 to 45 to stay within the Empire.
I am Thor, protector of Asgard, god of thunder, and I have lost my hammer. Quick hell, where in this Wix can I buy a new one?
Nobody puts baby in a coma.
Is it raining? I hadn't noticed. And now over to Stuart with the sport.
You're right, Frodo. This is an unexpected journey. We're on a replacement bus service.
You know what? I never liked Private Ryan. I say fuck him.
In a dystopian future, one lone man emerges intent on destruction. For more on the budget, tune in to Newsnight at 10.
hello to my little friend. This is Warwick Davis.
I see dead people all the time. I work at Dignitas.
In all the Weatherspoons in all the world, he had to walk into mine. Tall fella, answered to the name of Dara, said I'd recognize him from the back of a megabus.
This is the furthest outreaches of the universe, Alpha Centauri. How did they get to host the World Cup?
Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? It's just very difficult to tell you've got a lazy eye.
I'm afraid it's bad news, Dumbledore. The Ofsted inspectors have arrived.
They brought the dinosaurs back to life. Welcome to the best exotic Marigold Hotel.
What's wrong, Batman? Well, Robin's dead. Catwoman just dragged him in and tore his guts out and left him at the foot of me bed.
Ant-Man! It's me, Deckman!
Okay, the next topic is unlikely things to hear on a travel programme.
Look at these wide, sandy beaches. Fantastic. And we're almost certain the Ebola has now gone.
And the most wonderful thing about a trip to China is you get the opportunity to meet the child that made your trousers.
Yeah, I said it.
Southend is a lot like Las Vegas. It's the only other place in the world where you can pay for sex with chips.
This is Taiwan. I've given him a number because I can't pronounce his name properly.
I'm Danny Dyer, and welcome to Italy's quaintest vineyards.
Now, if you are travelling to America, remember to pack some anti-sickness tablets because this is where Piers Morgan lives.
Running, cycling, rock climbing, you'll do anything to get out of this shithole.
The accommodation, the weather, the food, all of these wonderful things help you to forget how smelly the locals are.
Yeah, I said it.
Today we got a flavour of Thailand with just a little bit of Iraq. I'm in a branch of Thai-Rack.
This week, I'm in Kyrgyzstan, answering your questions, like, how do you spell it and where the fuck is it?
So here we are in Lewisham. Now it is a very impoverished area, but there's a lot to see and do if what you like seeing and doing is crime.
This truly is the best way to see Portsmouth, while looking at a picture of it when you're in Paris.
I'm almost certain my producer has got this wrong. I'm on a train to Leighton with a load of football fans. This is the Orient Express.
Something about travel.
Yeah, I said it.
This is Keflavik, one of Iceland's oldest geezers. You all right, mate?
When you arrive, why not try island hopping, or as it's also known as river dance?
When you travel, it's important to immerse yourself in the culture. So here I am in Malia being fingered outside the Lammen flag.
Unlikely things to hear on breakfast TV.
You're watching breakfast TV because the chemist won't have your Valium ready until mid-morning.
Breakfast news now. A man is drowned in a bowl of Cheerios. Sadly and ironically, his family didn't get a chance to say goodbye.
This is BBC Breakfast. Look at it, that's meant to be a sausage.
Now, if you didn't see earlier on, we had steps. And that's why we interviewed Stephen Hawking outside.
Stay put for Jeremy Kyle. Today's tooth count is 3.
The world of show business has suffered another tragic loss. But don't worry, it's one of the ones you already thought was dead.
A lot of people ask me how I stay awake at this time. Well, you know what they say, early to bed, crack cocaine in the morning.
Today we're looking at the world's biggest birthday... Oh no, Eamon's in it.
If you've been affected by any of the issues in today's Jeremy Kyle show, then phone us up. You're the sort of freak we need to get on tomorrow.
Later on, we'll be meeting a man who has to go through 50 steps before he can orgasm. All that to come.
It's Channel 5, it's 5 a.m, and I am going to sack my agent.
Well, it's time for the traffic news now, here on Christian Breakfast Time. So let's go over to our eye in the sky, God.
If you hear a knock at your door, you could be the winner of £20,000. 2 knocks and it's a police raid. Hide the guns.
Now we're going over to the kitchen where Chef Tony will be cooking up an excuse for why he's been texting my wife.
Next up on Channel 4 Breakfast, it's a brand new homegrown British sitcom. Only joking, it's Everyone Loves Fucking Rape.
Well, let's take a look at the traffic. There it is. Brum, brum.
Well, I'm looking forward to this one. In the studio, we've got the new Doctor Who. Accidentally killed someone.
Okay. The next topic is lines you wouldn't read in a romantic novel.
The dark stranger emerged from the sea, his wet shirt clinging against his muscular torso. Soon, she held him and said the words she'd been dying to say for ages. I'm UK Border Patrol and you're under arrest.
She felt every part of his 8 inches. He was stiff, absolutely wretched, and even in her innocence, she knew her hamster was dead.
He felt a swelling down there. Shouldn't have tried to bang a beehive.
He took her hand in his and squeezed it. Now, he thought, I wonder where the rest of her body is.
I want to role play. I'll be a prince from a mythical land, and you be your sister.
He cupped her breast and put her arse in a bowl. She was into really weird shit.
You could make love, she said. Or vole, he replied, looking up from their game of Scrabble.
She felt her bosom heaving as Mr. Darcy came ever closer. Blimey, he said. You don't get many of them to the pound.
He grabbed her hand, he held it tightly, and they skipped off through the fields of daffodils. And it was at that moment She thought he might be a little bit gay.
He looked at the tattoo of Chinese writing on her back. He didn't know what it meant, but he did know she'd put out on a first date.
Jeremy Corbyn, you've got me blindfolded. What are you going to do now? Nothing. I just wanted to highlight the injustice of inmates detained at Camp X-Ray without a fair trial.
Why? Why does it end like this? She said. Childhood accident, he replied. I crushed it in the trouser press.
The debutantes paraded in the ballroom in front of the rich landowners, and the Master of Ceremonies proudly proclaimed, "Let the Darcys fondle the arses."
Marjorie, I'm going to kiss you like you've never been kissed before.
Of course I've seen a black penis before, she said. Just never attached to a white man.
Rejected exam questions.
History. Did I delete it?
If cycling 10 miles a day uses up 400 calories, explain why Boris Johnson is still a fat bastard.
If the sun is 93 million miles away, how can that cost £32 in an Uber?
Where is Greece? Is it A, the southern Mediterranean, or B, up shit creek?
What does the French phrase déjà vu literally translate as?
Using examples of Michelangelo's work, write 500 words on why he was the best turtle.
What does the French phrase déjà vu literally translate as?
Question A. Media studies. Is it a real subject? Question B. Is it...
Using a compass and ruler, draw perfect cock and balls.
Is this a rhetorical question?
You may now commence your anal sex exam. Please turn over.
Explain how UKIP became a major force in British politics without using the word wanker.
If Jay-Z is unfortunate enough to have a problem with a bitch, how many problems does Jay-Z now have?
Aggravated violence, question 1. Why might you use a bit of rubber hosepipe? No marks.
What colour is this dress? White and gold or black and blue? Discuss.
If a train leaves the station at the correct time and arrives at its destination at the correct time, how cool would that be?
Chemistry. Me, you. Is there any?
Okay, the next topic is unlikely things to say when running for US president.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and if you elect me the first female president of the United States, I promise you that on my first day in the White House, I will hire a very attractive male intern. He will be on his knees, not having sexual relations with me all day. Hashtag payback, hashtag long game.
I want to go to Washington. Why? I want to see what color the White House is.
No, we can't!
The name Clinton is in the DNA of the White House. In fact, the DNA of Clinton are on the walls of the White House.
I know the value of family because I sold one of my children to pay for this campaign.
As president, I will welcome immigrants because the White House is massive and it's not going to clean itself.
I will govern for all of this country. Not just the metropolitan cities on the coast, but also you cousin shaggers down south.
I would like to introduce you to my new Homeland Security advisor. Say hi, Lamb Chop.
Hi.
Come on, of course I'm the guy to succeed Obama. You know what they say? Once you go black.
If you elect me America's first colourblind president, I will do everything I can to uphold the values of the brown, white and green.
I would now like to talk to you people in a language of my own devising.
I want to put more boots on the ground in Afghanistan, and also 2 more branches of Paper Chase.
What you must remember is the people we need to convince are the great American people. And most of them are as thick as pig shit.
I'd like to apologise for Mr. Trump, which is what I say when I've just farted in bed.
When I was little, I did not plan to be President of the United States. This is more like a holding job until I get to rule a good country.
I am American through and through. Cut me, and I will shoot you in the face.
I wish to have no secrets in this campaign. I wish to be completely open, and it is done. That is why I'm going to start that again, because I fucked that up.
We Republicans want to reach out to all Americans. Blacks, whites, Chinese-y-looking ones.
I want to have no secrets in this campaign, and that is why I have gathered you here tonight to tell you I shot JFK.
Unlikely things to hear on a consumer programme.
Dear Anne, the other day I was changing my baby's nappy and he weed right in my face. Does this mean I can make a PPI claim?
Well, the toilet wasn't connected and there was no water coming out of the taps. And that's the last time I have a poo in the showroom at B&Q.
An important recall announcement now, as it transpires a large shipment of party poppers was mistakenly packaged as tampons.
Bad news for electricity consumers. N-Power has been bought by N-Dubs.
Critics say Botox is too expensive, but we spoke to 50 people who just paid for the treatment and none of them looked surprised.
Mr. Jones got a nasty rash from his new blanket. Good job he kept the receipt. Unfortunately, it doesn't cover as much as his body, it's not half as warm.
When they came home to find saloon doors and 6 dead Native Americans, they knew they were the victim of cowboy builders.
Firstly, we'd like to apologise for the mispronunciation on last week's show, and particularly to those people who, as a result, have invested all of their life savings in ISIS.
The house was haunted, and when he refused to pay the £200 for the exorcism, it was repossessed.
Dear Watchdog, I bought these pork scratchings, but they all taste a bit David Cameron-y.
The kids were left shocked, frightened and in tears. So our advice, if you're hiring a face painter, don't book a surrealist.
A word of advice for anyone that wants to buy shares in the company that makes Toblerone. This is a pyramid scheme.
If you've been tempted to go abroad for cheap boob jobs, you might reconsider after hearing about Sally, who came back from Thailand and discovered her implants had been filled with helium, and now they've gone tits up.
Okay, the next topic is lines you wouldn't hear in a kid's film.
Why are you crying, Mummy? Said Pepper. Well, said Mummy Pig.
What did Cameron do to you, babe?
But why are we going this way, said Bilbo. Well, said Gandalf, we've got to find some way of stretching this shit to 3 films.
It's bad news, Dorothy. The Cowardly Lion has been shot by an American dentist.
And here come Lala, Tinky Winky, and Poe, or the Shadow Cabinet, as they're also known.
It's bad news, Pumbaa. Simba has been shot by an American dentist.
Here comes Captain Hook, who turned to piracy after his benefits were stopped.
No, James, that isn't a giant peach. That's Nicki Minaj walking away from us.
Edmund, Lucy, bad news.
Hi, Harry Potter. It's me, your friend Ron Weasley. Don't I look a little bit like that James Acaster we saw on Mock the Week? Hey, here's a good idea. Let's go to all of his gigs and shout Ron Weasley at him in the audience, because no one's ever done that before.
Hello, we're the Railway Children, except on Sundays when we're known as the Bus Replacement Children.
Once a year, there is an event called the Hunger Games, or as some call it, London Fashion Week.
Half grizzly bear and half buffalo. The Gruffalo was the biggest, scariest animal in the whole wood, until one day he got a job presenting Mock the Week.
Nemo? Me? No.
Nanny McPhee, I've got bad news. We're replacing you with Nanny McSmallerfee from Belarus.
I'm Herbie, a VW Beetle. I've falsified my emissions tests.
So as you can see, we filmed the whole movie over Skype, which is why we called it Frozen.
The wonderful thing about Tickers is we can disembowel a gazelle in 10 seconds.
Unlikely things for a sports commentator to say.
And that's a wonderful sleight of hand from the Welsh fly half. He's picked up the loose ball, he's tucked it back in his shorts, and nobody seems to have noticed.
I can see Nico Rosberg's helmet.
Apologies, after 15 years in this job, I've just been told it's not pronounced croquette.
And after that victory, they'll be dancing on the street of Samoa tonight. 100 metres in 4 hours, 26 minutes, and that is meter reading at its very best.
Now, Gary Kasparov, he's going to move his pawn. And he's done it just in time. His wife's home, but he's got it under the bed.
Welcome to beach volleyball. The players are currently getting changed into their kits while their mums hold a towel up in front of them.
And Shane Warne will be laughing on the other side of his face after that surgery.
I'd like to apologise. What you're watching is, in fact, judo, and not, as I said earlier, timed pyjama cuddling.
Well, this should be relatively easy for Rory McIlroy. Oh, how has he done that? All he had to do was say, get a Santander 1, 2, 3 account.
Kasparov toying with his bishop. Oh, no, his wife's home, she's caught him!
Ah, that pot was remarkable. But now I've got a major case of the munchies.
We'd just like to refute the idea that the BBC has lost coverage rights of all good sports. We now cross to a girl playing noughts and crosses against a clown.
What a thrilling cricket match.
Left hand, big right hand again, big left hand. Why has no one put these gloves in pairs?
What the fuck is a furlong?
OK. The next topic is unlikely things for a continuity announcer to say.
On ITV2 next, what Katie did next, which I'm guessing is get her tits out and marry some thick prick for publicity purposes.
I can see you.
A very special episode of Songs of Praise now, coming live from Stringfellows.
That was Game of Thrones, and if you're affected by any of the issues raised in that show, what the fuck is wrong with your family?
Is masturbation bad for you? That's not the next programme, I'm just thinking aloud.
Next up, baking and entering with Anthony Worrell-Thompson.
Next up, Ross Kemp meets one of America's toughest gangs. But before that, a minute's silence for Ross Kemp.
No! Dad! This is bullshit! Hate it when the eggheads win.
Now on Channel 4, one born every minute, including graphic scenes of childbirth that some viewers may find inspiration to get a coil.
And now on Channel 4, skins. Foreskins.
Next up on Channel 4, +1, -2, divided by 3, countdown.
Next up, we have literally the only episode of Top of the Pops 2 we're allowed to show.
That was Mock the Week. Wasn't it weird when one of them said the exact same thing I'm saying right now? Still, talented fella.
Next up on BBC... Wait a minute, are those hippos swimming in a circle? What? Why are we watching Homes Under the Hammer?
Now it's one of those X Factor episodes where they sing next to a swimming pool. I presume to prepare them for a life singing on cruise ships.
You're watching the adult channel +1, because that Viagra's taking a while to kick in.
Well, next up, it's Midlands Today, so if you're watching in the Orkneys, you can fuck off.
Things you wouldn't hear on a news programme.
And the markets are as followed. £3 a loose banana there, £3 a juicy straw.
Well, he went in half an hour ago and he still hasn't come out, so I can only assume he's having a very big poo.
Sad news now. Wally has been found. His funeral's next week. No one knows where, but that's what he would have wanted.
As I stand here in this village where the water is ridden with disease and human faeces, we have to ask ourselves one question. Why did I choose to wear flip-flops?
Sorry, I just wanted to check something. I'm standing just a stone's throw from where the meeting is taking place.
With thousands dead, there looks like no end to the bloodshed. I've been Holly Walsh for the BBC, reporting from Midsummer.
Welcome to Fox News. The bastards have been through the bins again and shit on the drive.
And the Italian wing of Heinz soup has been put into administroni.
I'm on the scene where the search continues for the beloved pantomime star. What's that? He's where?
The fighting here has been drawn out and bloody, but I have finally got my microphone back from that bastard at Sky News.
We cross live now to the King's Road, where Jose Mourinho has no trousers or pants on and is telling the pigeons it's the referee's fault.
And we've got Barry Chuckle on the scene of the crime. Barry, to you.
It's not good news. I've just been talking to the American ambassador and I said to him, surely now Osama bin Laden has gone from terrorist to martyr. He said, we say tomato.
Is there sexism at the BBC? Let's ask Sally Johnson, who's our lovely smiles and pretty cakes correspondent.
This is the first time I have reported from the Pamplona Bull Run. Fucking hell!
OK, the next topic is unlikely agony aunt letters.
Dear Deirdre, why does semen make you fat?
Dear Deirdre, I have spent the last 6 months living with a beautiful woman. But yesterday she found out.
Dear Deirdre, I swear Eastern European meerkats are trying to sell me car insurance. Am I going mad?
Dear Deirdre, last time I wrote to you, you told me that there was nothing wrong with masturbation. Why then, yesterday, did I get thrown off the bus?
My girlfriend's livid because I got drunk and did a shit on the roof. Please tell me, how can I wipe the slate clean?
I have terrible trust issues. Please help me, Deirdre. if that's your real name.
Dear Deirdre, my husband is pressurising me to try Alan. Also, how do I turn off predictive text?
Dear Deirdre, I have just bought a diesel VW and I am fuming.
My wife wants us to experiment in the bedroom, but last time we did that, the Bunsen burner singed my pubes.
Dear Deirdre, I can only achieve orgasm while writing a letter. Do you think it's... It doesn't matter.
Dear Deirdre, how do I turn off caps lock?
Dear Deirdre, look, I'm not going to beat around the bush. Is there any other tips on satisfying my wife?
As we own our own business, my wife and I often make love at work, and we love to try new positions. Tomorrow, I'm finance director, and she's head of IT.
Dear Deirdre, I have a mole on the end of my penis. How much trouble am I in with the RSPCA?
At the end of that round, the points go to Rob, Holly and Ed.